Hi everyone. Hope you all are fine. But Cuba is not fine. You know, the Cuba, a South American country, a communist country. We all know that Cuba, or Cuba's, great leader was Fidel Castro, a great communist. And after his demise, his brother Raúl Castro was there as the president of that country. But will that country be able to survive themselves? Will the people of the country be able to live properly and with dignity? I think that due to United States of America's faulty policies, not faulty policies, intended criminal politics, the country will not be able to survive more, because Donald Trump has initiated such a policy that Cuba is suffering from want of or lack of fuel or gases. So Donald Trump thinks that by this way he will create one kind of indignation, he will create one kind of bad feeling against the government. The people will riot themselves against the government, and he will topple the government through the people of that country. Instead, otherwise, he said that we can. Donald Trump earlier said that we can gently take Cuba next after Iran. So you see, this type of aggressive politics, aggressive international politics, has been initiated by the United States of America very recently after 2025. If you see that Cuba is a Cuba is a small country, but do you think that everybody in the world will be the same? Do you think that every country will follow the same rule as the United States of America? Do you think that every country in the world will follow democracy? Every country will follow communism? Every country will follow monarchy? It should not happen, and it never happens actually. But some people like Donald Trump thinks that what I believe, what I think, the world will have to obey. The world will have to bend down under his fate. This is his perception. From that feeling and from his conception of MAGA, that is Make America Great Again, he is doing all those nonsense, I will say, because you see, the United States of America has given Cuba a 2-week deadline to release high-profile political prisoners as a gesture of good faith as part of Trump administration's broader demand for economic and political reforms on the island. So Donald Trump is dictating an independent country there, Cuba, that you have to release that prisoner, this prisoner. You see what kind of audacity is that? He thinks that he is the global leader, only global leader, and or the owner of this world, and all are his, his tenants. All the countries are his tenants. So this kind of perception is very dangerous for the world's stability and peace as well as progress. The demand was presented during a secret meeting April 10 in Cuba, according to a source familiar to the discussion. Some of the names quoted to release included Luis Manuel Otero, Alcantara, and Michael Osorbo, dissident artists from the San Isidro movement who were sentenced in 2022. In a statement to US Today, a State Department spokesperson said that the United States remains committed to the release of all the political prisoners. The United States of America is committed to release all the political prisoners from the world's prisons. What a ridiculous thought is this? And as a result, the demand for the release of Alcantara and Osorbo. So the spokesperson pointed to Trump's remarks at an April 17 rally that a new dawn for Cuba is coming, and said the regime should stop playing games as direct talks are underway. The Cuban government has a small window to make a deal, the spokesperson said. The United States of America under Donald Trump is very much eager to do deal with almost all the countries in the world. At first, he initiated bargaining and making deals with countries. He was calling one by one countries to his to a global office, and and there were discussions were going on, and he was making deals with the people in the country, with the leaders in the country, and he said that yes, I have become a very powerful leader, and people have started to respect me. And if any leader not, or if any leader doesn't respect me or does not show his what is it his subordinate nature, or if one does not show enough respect, and then he will impose more taxes or more tariffs on those countries. So this kind of politics, this kind of really bad politics has been started by Donald Trump in the United States of America. Normally, it generally doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Maybe at least after the Second World War, nothing like this happened anywhere in the world. This is such a bad governance, right? So the spokesperson of the United States pointed to Trump's remarks at an April 17 rally that a new dawn for Cuba is coming. A new dawn for Cuba is coming. So what a dangerous word this is. A senior State Department delegation traveled to Cuba April 10 for talks with the government and state government official confirmed to USA Today. A senior State Department official also had a separate meeting with former Cuban leader Raul Castro's grandson during the visit. Okay, so it was the first time a U.S. government plane had landed in Cuba since 2016. Axios was the first news outlet to report the meeting that took place. The officials told the Cuban government that the island's economy is in free fall, and that its ruling elites had a narrow window to make changes before circumstances irreversibly worsened. The State Department official said is committed to diplomatic solution is one is possible, but will not allow the island to collapse into what he views as a major national security threat if Cuba's leaders are unwilling or unable to act. So the meeting, the United States proposed bringing Starlink's high-speed internet services to Cuba, but the officials said Havana needs to enact changes that will make Cuba's economy more competitive and attractive to foreign investors. But if the Starlink comes into Cuba, there will be little benefit to Cuba, but more benefit will be earned by the Starlink's owners. Okay, the United States of America pushed for compensation of Americans and American-owned businesses that had their property confiscated and a lifting of constraints on political freedoms. So for that purpose, USA needs to get some compensation from Cuba, and the property that has been confiscated by the United States of America, of Iran, and everywhere where there is any confrontation, Donald Trump has imposed their either much tariffs or confiscated their their bank accounts or maybe wealth. In this way, Iran or imposed sanctions on that countries. So in this way, they are trying to squeeze in those countries. So it was after the meeting that Castro's grandson, Raul Guillermo Rodriguez Castro, tapped a Cuban businessman to personally bring a letter to the White House by passing official channels. The man, Roberto Carlos Chamizo Gonzalez, was intercepted in Miami, according to reporting by the Wall Street Journal. Cuba on shaky grounds. Tensions have been escalating between Washington and Havana for weeks as Trump warned a hostile takeover was possible. He is thinking that a hostile takeover is possible as Donald Trump has captured Venezuela and arrested its elected president, and his wife also. So this was really a very pathetic story, and it's a very what is say, very uh, black day in the history of Venezuela, that an elected president was arrested along with his wife at midnight, and they have been taken away to USA, and they are, what is say, they are in the name of judgment, or in the name of their inquiry or their judgment, some mockery is going on there. Okay, so, so after capturing Venezuela's leader in January, the Trump administration tightened long-standing sanctions and oil shipments to Cuba as part of a broader campaign to force sweeping political changes on the communist-led island. The country is already mired in severe economic crisis, and the nearly total blockade is pushing it towards collapse. In recent weeks, Trump has said he believed that he would have the honor of taking Cuba, unquote. So he said that, quote, it is his honor to taking Cuba, unquote, and that the United States may stop by Cuba after he finishes with Iran. You see what kind of threat he is leaving. This is greatest threat for Cuba. So the United States has signaled in recent days that Trump is still weighing his options. USA Today reported April 15 that military planning for a possible Pentagon-led operation in Cuba was quietly ramping up in case Trump gives the order to intervene. A U.S. military surveillance drone was later spotted flying near Cuba. Asked about the Pentagon's planning on Air Force One on April 17, Trump cryptically told Twitter, well, it depends on what your definition of military action is. Close. So in this way, Donald Trump is trying to capture Cuba, and he is trying to make the life of common people in Cuba miserable. A few days ago, I saw a newspaper article where the people of Cuba are saying that if you want to punish Cuba, then why are you punishing the common people of Cuba? You may punish the government, you may punish the people who are in power, but why you were killing, or why you were, giving pain to the common people of Cuba? Definitely, the people of the country are normally simple, general people. Why they should suffer from gas supplies? Why they should suffer from scarcity of food? Why they should suffer from scarcity of oil? And their operations, many operations in hospitals are not being taking place in Cuba. The hospital or emergency services are not being conducted. Some medicines and in fridges are not being kept because there is no electricity due to lack of power, and and the poor people who are getting government services in hospitals, their health services have already been suffered a lot. So ultimately, the people of Cuba are being suffered, and Donald Trump thinks that likewise Iran, the people of Cuba will also make a revolt against the existing government, and there will be changeover of the regime in Cuba. But that did not happen for many years, because from my student life I have been saying that Cuba is a communist country and there is a tussle between America and Cuba, but those main people are not there. Fidel Castro is no more, Raul Castro is no more, and his grandson is ruling the country. So I think that the people should not suffer. The people have basic right to live and maintain their livelihood, and they should get minimum healthcare facilities. They should get minimum basic facilities like gas, like oil, like medicine, like food and transportation, all those things. So people are ultimately suffering there in Cuba. I show my solidarity with the people of Cuba, and I expect that there will be a truce, or there will be a negotiation, or there will be a gentle discussion on the table, so that Cuba can be given or resumed services, and the sanction on Venezuelan Venezuelan oil supply to Cuba must be revoked so that the people of Cuba get their oil and live a decent life. With this, I would like to keep this video here. I hope that you will enjoy the video, and you also create an opinion, public opinion, so that Donald Trump brings good sense, and he helps people of Cuba to live a decent and dignified life. With this hope and expectation, and with this appeal, I would like to close this video. Thank you very much for watching this video.